Many of y'all know this. There's one sentence in a medical opinion that can make or break a VA disability claim. And a lot of veterans don't know that it's important. So when people talk about nexus letters, they usually focus on who wrote it or how long is it, how many pages, how detailed it looks. But in reality, the one specific part of that opinion that carries a lot of weight is this one sentence. And it's something that's been becoming more and more well known among veterans, and it's at least as likely as not, or more likely than not. Now, at surface level, you think more likely than not is better, so I want that one. But that most likely doesn't apply. And so understanding that phrase is important. It's not just wording, it reflects that standard that the VA uses when evaluating a claim. And at least as likely as not means there's at least a 50% chance or greater probability that the condition is related to service. It doesn't require absolute certainty. Yes, more likely than not means it's more certain, but if you use it in the wrong context, you could be doing yourself a disservice. They're looking for whether the evidence reaches that threshold. Both of them are positive medical opinions. One is not better than the other. One does not make or break a case. Now, compare it to a phrase like possibly related, could be related, or may be related. They sound supportive, but medically and legally, they are considered weak because they clearly don't meet that standard that the VA has set. So your private doctor may or may not know that, and using the wrong positive medical opinion could actually reflect a weaker nexus letter. So for example, a statement that says, this condition may be related to service leaves too much uncertainty. A stronger statement is, it is at least as likely as not that the condition is related to service, followed by a clear explanation. That's where many doctors mess up. They do the statement, but then they forget the explanation. That is extremely important. The sentence alone isn't enough. You have to have the correct wording, but if the explanation is not there, it may still carry limited weight. This is where that medical rationale comes in. A rationale simply means the reasoning behind that opinion. Why does that doctor believe these two things are connected? What has gotten him to that or her to that conclusion? The VA is just not reading that conclusion and saying, check a box, they meet criteria. They're evaluating whether that explanation makes sense. Is it based on the medical records? Is it based on facts? Does it line up with exactly what your medical records are saying? Or is it unrelated? It's different. A strong opinion explains that connection. A strong opinion is also supported by the same evidence in the medical record. It may reference your history, some symptom progression, the exposures that you've had, or known medical relationships through research. It may also address other possible causes and say why these don't apply to you and why your service or your service-connected condition is still a significant contributing factor. A weak opinion states the conclusion without an explanation. A strong opinion explains how the provider reached that conclusion. So remember, that sentence is important. Both of them, at least as likely and more likely, are positive medical opinions. They need to be used properly, and it's not the only thing that matters. It only really works and makes it strong if it's supported by a clear, well-explained medical reasoning. And if you're reviewing your own records, ask yourself that question. Does that opinion clearly state the connection? And does it clearly explain why it could be service connected? And does that opinion align with what you have documented in your medical history? All of those pieces together will make that medical opinion probative.